Hi there, so like me, you might spend quite a lot of time training on your rowing machine, and every now and then it's quite nice to let it run and give a chance to see what you're capable of. And that's what the Cross Team Challenge at c2ctc.com is all about. It gives you a chance every month to row a challenge for your team and see exactly what all that training's been doing. Now, this month, this is May 2022, the challenge is 10 100 meters with 1 minute rest in between, okay? So you row 100 meters as fast as you can, you take a minute rest, you do it again, you do that over and over again, all right? And it's all about as fast as you can go. Now, as such, because it's a distance event, it's kind of hard to do the row along thing to it, but I'm going to record this anyway, if only so you can see how I flail up and down the machine, but also to give you an idea of how I'm going to do the warm-up, how I'm going to do the initial interval, and then because we're then allowed to have a moving flywheel for the rest of the intervals, I'll show you how I get the flywheel up to speed before starting the next one, and then you can have a good laugh at my end result, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put chapter markers with 15 seconds to go before the start of each interval, in case you want to try and use this video as a row along to kind of keep you motivated and all that kind of stuff, because I'll talk to you during the rest periods and things. So hopefully you can try and time this one, okay? Right, so we're going to get into our warm-up first. I'm going to do the 10-minute warm-up. I'm going to tweak it slightly towards what today is going to be about, which is these 100-meter sprints, okay? So just follow along with me for this 10-minute warm-up. It's an increasing intensity warm-up that will hopefully get you all nicely prepared for the main session, okay? Right, so we have to get our machine set up as we always do. So set your drag factor to where you would normally have it. Now, I say normally in a kind of big bold because you might want to increase it very slightly for the main session, but for the time being, set it where you would want it to be. Next up, set your monitor to eye height so you don't have to look up and you don't have to look down, both of which can affect your posture. And finally, set those foot straps to where you want them to be. Now, I still recommend having them set so that you can get into a comfortable position at the front of the machine with your shins pointing vertically, okay? Again, some people will raise their foot straps by 1 notch for the main session, but certainly for the warm-up, try and keep it at the normal position you would have them set, okay? So we're going to start this warm-up at run about 18 strokes a minute, and I just want you to think for the first minute about the connection between your feet and your hands. I will explain. Okay, here we go then, in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So just enough power from your legs, almost as though you were just standing up out of a chair or something. Just enough that you can think about pushing your feet into the machine and your hands connecting the handle to the machine at exactly the same time. That's so important. No matter whether you're rowing half marathon or whether you're rowing 100-meter sprints, you want to make sure that all of the available power from your legs can get into the machine by getting that timing right. Okay, so in 3 strokes time, we're going to go up to 20 strokes a minute. And now you can start to think a little bit more about your pace. So here we go, up to 20 strokes a minute. And if you have a 2K training pace, which means you take the average 500-meter pace from your best current 2,000 meter time trial, that's quite a mouthful, isn't it? Then I want you to be rowing these at round about 2K plus 18 for this 20 strokes per minute phase. And then in 6 strokes time, go back down to 18 strokes a minute. So just going up and down for the first 4 minutes. Okay, last one here. And just back off to 18 again. Because the whole point here is that you want to get your body moving. You want to open up flexibility and body angles and things, but don't exhaust yourself. There's no point wasting all of your energy in the warm-up. So there is a bit of a balance to be had here. But there will be like a couple of minutes between the warm-up and the start of the main session to make sure you are fully recharged, okay? So 2 more strokes and then take it back up to 20 strokes a minute. You ready? Here we go. So just put more of a push from your legs into the machine to add a little bit more power, which will not only make the monitor time go faster, but you should find the drive phase of your stroke feels quicker, and that's how your stroke rate goes up. Okay, so for the next 6 minutes, we're going to do 30 seconds at a slightly faster rate, and then 30 seconds back at 18 again. So up to 22 strokes a minute after this one. Here we go. And try to go around about 2k plus 15, which is about, well, should run about 3 seconds faster than you were rowing your 20s at. I know it's all a bit complicated sounding, but you're basically just going slightly faster each time here. So back down to 18 strokes a minute. You can go slower than normal if you wish here. This is just like an active recovery to prep you for the next 30-second boost, which is going to happen in 2 strokes time when we take it up to 24. You ready? So 24 strokes a minute. Push harder with the legs, and hopefully you'll find you naturally drop to about 2k plus 12 pace. You're about 7 out of 10 on the intensity scale. 2 more. 1 more. Back to 18s. And just keep your body moving. Still put in enough of a push, but don't worry too much about pace. You just want your body to connect here, and that's all. And then the next one, we'll go up to 26 strokes per minute, coming up now. So again, you should find that just by pushing harder with your legs, the drive phase of your stroke will get quicker, and your speed should jump right up. 1 more. There you go. Nice, easy 18s again. Hopefully you'll feel your body getting progressively warmer here without feeling exhausted from it. Okay, 3 more strokes. We're going up to 28. You ready? 28 strokes a minute, round about 2k plus 5 pace if you can. This is like 8 to 9 out of 10 intensity. finish strong with the arms, even though it's all about the legs. Still pull in strong. Back to 18s. Now, for the next two, we're just going to do 10 seconds, but I want you to really take the stroke rate up, close to where you think you're going to be doing your 100-meter sprints at. So I'm going to be about 36-ish. 2 more strokes. 1 more. So really get that pace up for 10 seconds. Feel yourself. Right, stop. Ran out of time to say. Feel yourself really getting the pace up. And then we're going to do another one with, well actually, we'll wait until the end of this minute. Just let your body ease off. Won't do too many of these. I was thinking about sneaking in another one, but I think just 2 will be enough. So just paddling here, and then in 7 seconds time, we're going to go fast again. So after this one, 10 seconds fast. So you're not going too long, just a few strokes. 1 more, there we go. And then we're just gonna paddle home. Okay, so same as how we started the warm-up, where you're just connecting the feet and the hands. You're still thinking about nice straight arms at the front at the catch, forward tilt into the front of the machine, and then push, holding those straight arms and that forward tilt for as long as possible through the leg drive. 2 more strokes, 1 more. There we go. Right, and if you're used to doing my usual warm-ups, don't worry, I haven't forgotten about doing the single legs and then the arms and back only and the legs only drills. We're just going to do them at the end as part of the cool down, okay? Right now it's more important that you're properly, fully warmed up. Now, I'm going to quickly stick up a card saying to stretch and have a quick drink while I do the same, take off my hoodie and we can get prepared for the main session. Okay then, so just a quick reminder, what we're doing is 10 100-meter sprints with 1 minute rest in between. Now, I've bumped up my drag factor from 140 to 175 because these are short, fast sprints. However, I don't want you to do that unless you're sure that you're not going to end up getting injured, okay? This is a tough enough session as it is, and if you add in the extra weight from a higher drag factor, there's a real good chance that if you're not used to this kind of thing that you could end up getting injured, and I really don't want you to be injured, okay? So even if you do a couple of run-throughs of this at your normal settings and then consider raising the drag factor in like a couple of weeks time when you come back to it again, if you think you've got the power, then please do, but just don't go straight out for that, okay? And while we're talking about safety, our very first interval is going to be from a stopped flywheel, okay? So you're going to be picking it up from stopped. And so that initial stroke, that very first stroke is going to be really, really tough on your body. So really make sure it's coming from your legs, that you push hard with your legs and that you don't swing your back too soon, heaving against it, and therefore putting all this force into your lower back, okay? So I want you to push with the legs and then get into it, okay? Now, I've learnt already from a series of videos that the best way I do a race start is to go straight into full strokes, okay? I do a big push from the front, full strokes. None of this short, sharp, stabby stuff that I thought was the best way for me to row. However, I found out it's not. You can check out a video, I've got it, race starts, it's up here if you want to watch me doing that experimentation. And so I know that slightly higher drag factor, that those race starts in terms of full strokes and keeping my foot stretchers at the same height, that's what makes me go as fast as possible through these 100-meter sprints. So that's what I'm going to do today. Now, hopefully the amount of time it's taken me to describe all of this has given all of our bodies enough time for the ATP to recharge into our muscles after that 10-minute warm-up, and we're all going to be good to go, okay? If you need to take a longer rest in between, then please do before starting, because remember, once we get going, especially if you're doing this as the CTC with the 1-minute rests in between, okay? So remember, this is all about putting everything into the machine 10 times with 1-minute rests in between. Yeah, fun, they said. So I'm not going to say anything during the row, but I'll speak to you during the rest periods, okay? So in 3, 2, 1. 17.3 for my first outing. Hardest thing, to be honest, is remembering to breathe. It's quite easy to hold your breath as you're pushing into the machine. Now remember, I'm going to try and set up chapter markers at the 15-second point if you want to try and skip the video, and I'll give you a countdown for that. Because at the 15-second point is when, well, at 12-second point is when I'm going to pick up the handle and start doing some light rowing to get the flywheel moving for the next one. Okay, so 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. So light rowing. You really want to take one stroke every 3 seconds. A little bit harder. It's up. Oh, too soon. And go. So I got the timing there wrong. Yeah, I got the timing wrong. I was a bit too eager on my last 2 strokes, because I tend to go 12, 9, 6, 3, go. So you just progressively increase your power through those light rowing bits so the flywheel is up and moving, so that your first stroke is just about keeping the flywheel going. Right. Okay, so 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. So get the flywheel moving. 9, 6, 3, and go. .2. It's interesting doing these. I can feel this is where my technique breaks down. I'm really yanking on the foot straps to get myself forwards to keep the rate up at the low 40s. Three down, 7 to go. I'm about 12 strokes per interval, 20 seconds to go. 17, 16, 15, 13, 12. Get that flywheel moving. 9, bit more power. 6, even more. 3, and go. 1. 17.4. I mean, if I can hold 17 point something through all of these for my first attempt this month, I'll be happy. For the first time ever, I can feel the foot straps really biting into my feet. Okay, 25 seconds to go. This minute goes really quick, doesn't it? 20, 17, 16, 15, 13, start your light rowing. 9, bit more power. 6, bit more power. You ready? Let's go. Oh, I'm slipping. 0.5 that time. Halfway there. It's the Bon Jovi point. Who would have thought 17 seconds can make this so tiring. 25, 20, 15, 12, 9, 6, 3, I feel I'm squirming all over the seats as my posture ruins itself as I lunge into the front in the search for more length. So the thing about 100 meters is that, well, for me anyway, technique goes out the window. However, make sure to keep those arms straight as you come forwards. Give yourself the whole range to pull. 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 9, 6, 3, and go. I'll try and improve posture for this one. Felt possibly better posture wise, and still 17 and a half, so I might stick to that. Felt a little less fly and die. There is a proper element here where it just is about push with the legs as hard as you can, pull with the arms as hard as you can, especially if your stroke rate's up in the 40s like mine. Okay, 18, 16, 15, 12, 9, 6, 3, here we go. 2, 17.5 again. 2 more to go. I'd say, can you go faster? But really, for me anyway, it's just a case of, can you hold on? Can you maintain? I'd really not want to get below 17 and a half. That would disappoint me. Okay. 20 seconds. 17, 16, 15, 13, 12, 9, 6, 3. Here we go. Point 5 again, but as being, I completely left the seat and it ended up on my hamstrings for a few strokes. I'm surprised I didn't lose more time. Okay, last one coming up. Hopefully you've worked out a way to try and stay close to in sync with me. 20 to go. 17, 16, 15, 12. Let's see what we can get out. 9, 6, 3, and go. Ah, 17.1. Always think that tells a tale. If you are under the impression that you are at max intensity for a session like that, and then you can finish faster than any other interval by quite a far margin. Well, actually no, my third one was 17.2, so, and that was 17.1. But still makes me think that maybe I had eased off a tiny bit in the middle there, or technique wasn't right. Anyway, so I've did that in 2:53.7 for all 10 of them, which will hopefully be a relatively good score. I will update it using the Ergzone app. This is really handy, as being the c2ctc.com website is still experiencing issues loading scores from an iPhone. However, I need to do 2-minute cooldown first. And we're going to do this as 1 minute of light rowing to cool down, and then we're just going to do 1 minute worth of those drills. Okay, here we go then, in 3, 2, 1, go. So around about 18, basically the way you started the warm-up is how you're finishing this off. So just enough of a connection between your legs and hands that you feel your body bracing against the power, so you can think about technique, about that force surging into the machine, even if you are rowing at 2k plus 30. So my average was right about 2k minus 18 for the main session right now, or just then, which I'm quite pleased with. So after this stroke, put one foot on the ground and continue rowing. This will just open up your hips, help with flexibility, give a bit of a consolidated push, swap feet. Yeah, so get a bit more of a push to the leg that's strapped in. 2 more here, and then we'll put both feet in the straps and just row with your back and arms. So swing over your hips, pull in your arms, out with the arms, over your hips. 1 more here, then slide to the front, arms straight, forwards tilt, and just push with your legs. Not too hard. I want you to concentrate on just remaining in this forwards lean and straight arms position. Last one. Ooh. Right. Hopefully you have time to stretch. If you don't, then I do recommend stretching your glutes because they might have got good kicking just then. Your quads, your hip flexors and your hamstrings. Just don't do it in the shower. I don't want you to slip and fall over. However, if you do have time, hopefully you found yourself a nice safe spot to go to. And there we go. A rather straight-faced, stretchy John has just arrived on screen to take you through a bunch of stretches that I do when I finish a row in order to make sure my body has eased off and that I'm not going to just sit there and seize like a statue when I get back to my desk. Okay, so he's going to take you through hamstrings, quads, hip flexors, glutes, biceps, triceps, forearms, shoulders. I think that's it. Back, did I do that one? Oh, whatever. So there we go. Right, so like I said in the rather bloated intro, that's a slightly different one than I normally make because usually my RowAlong workouts are time-based so that we all stop and start at the same time and then we live together in perfect harmony. Hey. However, because this was a distance one, couldn't really do it that way. So I know some of you out there will have been rowing those 100 meters quicker than I was. Some of you, excuse me. I hope I remember to mute that. Oh, excuse me. It's because one of the drinks at one point I missed and I just gulped air and that's it coming back up again. Yeah, some of you would have rowed slower than I did over those 100 meters, but hopefully it worked in a way that you were able to kind of get there. Or maybe you just hit mute and just watch me flap up and down while you did it on yourself and you're now you then fast forwarded to this bit. Who knows how you did it? You can even let me know in the comments whether this is any use to you or not. Now, the important thing from my point of view is, and one of the reasons I made this as a video, is so that when I get into the edit suite and I put this together to upload it, I can watch it. And especially that last interval where, to be honest, I was really concentrating rather than just thinking, what am I going to say in the next rest period? I was just thinking, push with the legs, pull with the arms. I wasn't even thinking legs, back, arms. I was just thinking, get all the power into the machine as possible. And like I said, that was the fastest of all the intervals. 100 meter rowing, the rowing should be, it's a modern art rowing. It should be in inverted commas. 100 meter rowing isn't really rowing. It's about just brutalizing the machine, just putting the power in there and just making sure that everything you do is about getting that power in there. You might even have seen that on the rolling starts. Hopefully I didn't do it in the main part of the interval, but in the rolling starts, in order to get power with like 3 seconds to go, I'd do that kind of longer layback and a higher finish with the handle. That was just to squeeze in a bit more power. And I still had like those 3 seconds to recover into the next stroke. So I was kind of squeezing in a bit more, but it wasn't at full power. So I was quite happy to end up in that kind of reclined position and hands up, because I know that actually does get in a little bit more power for a single stroke doing that. It's when you do that across the entire 100 meter row that it suddenly becomes problematic in terms of potential injury. That if you're doing 42 strokes a minute and you're finishing like this, the force on your lower back and your core, your stomach, in order to get yourself back up again to the front of the machine, to get that rate up. I mean, I made a video about this before. Do check it along on my channel. where I just couldn't get the rate up. I was doing 100-meter tests for the two. I think I managed like 45 for the 100-meter test, but I managed like 35 for the deep layback because I just literally couldn't get forwards, and it really hurt my back doing it. So that's why I don't suggest. But for a single stroke to get the flywheel up, yes, because it's just about getting, but again, you wouldn't do that on a boat, would you? No, because if you did that, the whole thing would point up and you'd go into the water. But the actual 100-meter sprints themselves are just, if I could stand on my head with one finger in my ear singing Bon Jovi, and it would mean that I could row a 15-second 100-meter piece on here, I'd do it. I'd do anything to be able to do 100-meter. In fact, to be honest, as just a rowing machine kind of specialist, I'd pretty much do anything if it meant that I was able to do a time trial of any sort faster. However, it doesn't really work that way. So a 100-meter sprint, you can kind of let things decay if it means putting in power over those 17, 18, 19, 20 seconds. However, the things I was doing then about overreaching, lunging into the front, I'd hope that I wouldn't be doing for the main meet of a 2,000-meter time trial, say. Maybe the last 500 meters as everything's falling apart and I'm desperately seeking some kind of pace, things might fall apart. But that's okay, again, because I'm on a rowing machine. But this is all caveated inside a huge bubble saying never do anything that causes you injury. Okay, if there's something that you do that can make the machine go a little bit faster, but every single time you do it you end up either twanging an intercostal, or you hurt your triceps, or you mess around with your psoas muscle or your L2 lumbar or whatever, then just don't do it, because there's no point squeezing out 1 second on a rowing machine for one session and then having to take 4 to 6 weeks off in order to heal, is there? No. Unless you're winning massive prize money or something from doing it. If I could go into a race and row in a way that damaged myself and I'd win £1 million for it, and it meant that I'd torn an intercostal and to have to take 6 weeks off rowing, I'd probably do it, to be honest. But just for the sake of a monthly challenge or just whatever, you don't want to do that, do you? You want to make sure and look after yourself. I'm sounding like your dad, aren't I? Now, if you're going to go out, make sure and look after yourself. Don't speak to any strangers. Don't accept any puppies or sweeties from strangers. Although if there's a stranger out there handing out puppies, you have to you'd be a little bit wary about them anyway. Why are you giving me a puppy? What's wrong with your puppy? I'd like a puppy, to be honest. Having lost all 3 of my cats over the past 3 years. The first one went in 2020. That was Lucky went, and then Ozzy went in 2021. And then a few months ago we lost Ziggy. So that was like our furry babies went. And so we are petless in our house, which is quite sad. But we are on the lookout for a cat from the Cats Protection League, just a cat that needs rehomed, that's going to be happy to have kids in the house. That's the problem. But still, I'd love a little Cocker Spaniel puppy. Oh, that would make me so happy. Anyway, there we go. See, and here's you thinking that today's video would be all about rowing and that I wouldn't deviate anyway, or kind of get tangenticized, tangerine? What would the word be? I hit a tangent about that. Anyway, listen, I hope you understand what I'm saying. Don't do anything that hurts you. Yes, you might be able to go a little bit faster, but if you get injured, what's the point? That's kind of what I'm saying as your dad, okay? So there we go. I am going to come back and do this. I mean, ideally, I'd like to do this every week and see if I can improve upon it. Time allowing, I'll try and do that. Whether I will upload a video every week, I don't know. I might do one now, I might do one in 2 weeks' time, and then I might do one at like the end of the month. So there's like 3 versions of this just to see if anything can be improved upon. But to be honest, I was quite pleased with that result, so I don't know if I would. So anyway, thank you so much for being part of this. Please do let me know if you managed to work out how to row along with me on this one, or whether you just watched me flapping around a rowing machine for 2.5 minutes, well, plus rest. But yeah, or 2:53, not 2.5. If I could have done that in 2.5, I'd be a happy bunny, I'll tell you that much. Ooh. So, in fact, that could be our hashtag, Happy Bunny, why not? Okay, Easter's miles away, we're nowhere near the Easter Bunny or anything. People will be like, what's he on about? So Happy Bunny. Okay, well, there's bunnies, it's spring, it's May, there's bunnies bouncing around. Maybe I could get a rabbit instead of no, that'd be a bad idea. Think of it chewing away on my cables. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in one of my myriad workouts that I have on this channel. I have plans, I have workouts, I have standalone things. Just take a look at my channel and you'll go, oh my good grief, there's loads of videos here. But I group them into playlists and you can go, oh look, they're all together. So, right, thank you very much. I will see you in whatever video of mine I hope that you plan to load up next. Please do get in touch. And that's it. Remember, it's all free, you don't have to pay a thing. Wow. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.